Joining us now to break down the day's top headlines is Bruce LeVell, a longtime advisor to President Trump and a senior media surrogate for the RNC. Bruce, I think the big story of today so far has been the Supreme Court decision. And I don't think it's the decision itself, but I think it's what a lot of conservatives are saying about the makeup of the court. I mean, it's something that I think Republicans thought that they had a good handle on. They have the 5-4 majority. We saw the grueling confirmation battles of Neil Gorsuch, of Brett Kavanaugh. But now John Roberts is starting to be a headache for a lot of members of the Trump administration. Do you think that it's right to criticize him, or do you think that this is something that should be expected on a court?
Well, it's unexpected. I think it depends on what the big hot topic per se is that's in the courts. But a little disappointed with the president on this. I know DACA, we really needed some level of closure on this, and I think it's going to really. As you saw, the president's been tweeting in terms of where he wants to go and what he wants to look at as it relates to his future in his courts. I think it's a little unfair. I think it has the appearance of John Roberts kicking the can respectfully down the road without being, a cut and dry, pretty much decision. So I'm very curious to see where we go with this, especially in the event that the president is very privileged to pick another Supreme Court justice in the future.
And we know that Republicans are very much so, they champion judges. I mean, you look at Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and what he's done in the upper chamber. I mean, it's historic. Whether you like McConnell or not, I mean, what he's doing, he's pushing through judges that are not only going to have an impact right now, but they're young judges too. They're going to change the generational makeup of this entire country. So as we go into an election year too, I mean, I don't want to speculate about a possible Supreme Court seat, but I mean, we have to bring up Ruth Bader Ginsburg's age. I mean, it's very possible that a seat could open up within the next 4 years, depending on who wins that. Is that something that you think Republicans should be putting out there, saying that it's not only a vote for President Trump, but it's also a vote for a Supreme Court justice?
Well, I think it's fair. And you see what the president's done. I mean, his record number of terms of putting judges in some of the lower courts is just astronomical. But I think it's a fair conversation. Yes, there are some that are getting up in age, and the conversation has to get there and be in the talk. But I think it does and will have a tremendous impact on the future of this great country. And so this is a very strong conversation, I might add. And we'll see where it takes us.
No, and we talk about how big this moment is right now and how big the upcoming election is, but a Supreme Court justice, that's something that is a lifetime appointment. That is something that doesn't just change the next 4 years. That is something that will change basically the next generation. I mean, those decisions, even when we look at the decisions that they're making right now, I mean, we're looking back to, legal standing that is from the 70s, stuff like that, So it shows you how long impactful that these decisions are. And right now, too, the big story is John Bolton in the headlines. And it's not necessarily anything that I think the average American cares too much about. So if you were advising the Republican Party, is that something that you think that they should meet head on, kind of go with John Bolton? Or do you think that they should just kind of go about their other messaging when it comes to maybe police reforms or the economy or something different?
Well, I have to kind of go with the president on this because I'm really disappointed, Alex, and this is the deal. When you're appointed by the president or you serve at the pleasure of the president, you go in there, you work hard, you do what you have to do. You don't go in there to share your ideas and your thoughts and privilege information out to the public just because your feelings are hurt or you don't like what you hear or see. I think it's very dangerous to any sitting president, Democrat or Republican, to have a top national security advisor, get upset and then leave the administration and go out and threaten to write books and talk about tell. I think it's very dangerous for our republic. And this is sending a bad message out to the people that, what is he going to talk about? Some of the confidential conversations with Kim Jong and some of the other world leaders where the president had to negotiate certain deals where you actually put that information out there is very dangerous. It's very, very disrespectful, too. Listen, when you get appointed to a great position, work hard. If you disagree with it, thank you as great serving and go sit down and be quiet and let the next lady or man come in there and let them do the job and work for the country. And I think it's just bad.
I'm with you because I also think it's very hypocritical. For example, John Bolton was saying that Chelsea Manning deserved the death penalty or life in jail at the very least for leaking classified information. And that's the very thing that he's being accused of right now. And I think it's also one of those moments where right now he is having his moment because he is now taking an anti-Trump stance, if you will. If you're a Republican, John Bolton is betraying the administration that he championed at one point. If you're a Democrat, John Bolton decided not to bring this information up during the impeachment saga, instead doing so now to sell books. And if you're an American too, I just have to say it, this is a guy who has profited off of wars and regime changes all around the world. So I think no matter where you stand, I think there is something to say about John Bolton, and it does trouble me that he's now making money off a book. But I'm going to put that to the side. I guess I'll let the administration handle this and kind of cool down a little bit. Bruce LeVell, it's always appreciating talking to you. Thank you very much for coming on tonight.